The Princess and the 11 Swans. Long ago, in a kingdom wrapped in silver rivers and whispering trees, there lived a kind king and his 12 children, 11 princes, and one gentle princess named Eliza. The king loved his children dearly, but after many lonely years, he chose to marry again. The woman he brought into the castle was beautiful, but her heart was cold as winter ice. For she was not just a queen, she was a witch. From the very first day, she looked upon the 11 princes with envy and spite, and one by one, with a whisper of dark magic and a flick of her hand, she changed them into great white swans. By day, they were forced to fly across the skies, far from their home. Only at night, under the quiet glow of the moon, can they return to their human forms. As for Eliza, the queen tried to cast her spell, but Eliza's goodness and kindness shone much too brightly, and the magic would not take hold. Furious, the queen drove her away instead. She dirtied Eliza's face, tore her dress, and sent her into the world alone, where no one would recognize her as a princess. Barefoot and heartbroken, Eliza wandered through forests and fields, but she never lost hope, for love, you see, is stronger than any spell. At last, she found her brothers by the edge of a quiet sea. At sunset, the swans descended, and as the sky turned gold, they became princes once more, and they spent that evening in joyful reunion. And when the first ray of sunlight hit the shore, they carried Eliza to a faraway land across the sea, beyond the reach of the wicked queen. There, deep in a forest filled with soft light and secret paths, Eliza met the queen of the fairies. The fairy queen spoke gently. To save your brothers, you must be brave. You must gather stinging nettles, those prickly, painful plants that grow in graveyards, and weave them into shirts. The fairy queen continued, you must not speak a single word until the work is done. Not one word, or all you love will be lost. Eliza nodded, and so her task began. By day and night, she gathered nettles from shadowed places. Their sharp leaves stung her skin, cutting and bleeding and raising blisters on her hands. Still, she did not stop. Thread by thread, she wove the shirts. She spoke no word, not even when it hurt, not even when she was afraid. One day, as she worked, a young king from a distant land came riding through the forest. He found Eliza there, silent, pale, and beautiful. Though she could not speak, the king saw kindness in her eyes, and he fell in love. He brought her to his castle, gave her a room filled with light, and asked her to stay. Eliza continued her work, her hands moving tirelessly. In time, the king asked her to be his queen, and though she could not answer, Eliza gently placed her hand in his. But not everyone trusted her silence. The archbishop of the kingdom watched Eliza closely. He did not understand her quiet ways, her secret work, her midnight wanderings. One night, Eliza slipped out to gather more nettles in a graveyard. Pale shapes moved among the shadows, and the wind whispered through the stones. The archbishop saw her there, and fear filled his heart. She must be a witch, he declared. Eliza was taken away to be put on trial. But she could not defend herself, for she could not speak. And so Eliza was sentenced to be burned. But even as they led her to the stake, Eliza carried her bundle of nettle shirts. Her hands, wounded and weary, did not stop. Stitch by stitch, Eliza kept sewing and weaving, and above the crowd, 11 swans circled the sky. They saw their sister below. They tried to reach her, but the sun was rising. Time was slipping away. The people grew restless, but just then, with a rush of wings and a cry that echoed through the heavens, the swans descended. In that final moment, Eliza finished the last stitch. She stood, lifted the shirts, and cast them over her brothers. At once, the magic broke, and where the swans had been, 11 princes now stood. All but the youngest, who still had one wing, for her shirt had not been fully finished. Eliza at last could speak, but her strength was gone. She fell into silence once more, and her brothers told the truth of all that had happened, of the spell, the suffering, and Eliza's courage. And as they spoke, something wondrous began. The dry wood at Eliza's feet took root. Green shoots curled upward. Flowers burst into bloom, soft, white, and shining. The king stepped forward and gently picked the highest flower and placed it over Eliza's heart. And slowly, she opened her eyes. The spell was broken. The truth was finally known. And love had won. From that day on, Eliza and the king ruled with kindness and grace. And though one brother bore a wing instead of an arm, he wore it proudly, a reminder of the sister who saved them all. And in the quiet of night, when the wind moves softly through the trees, some say you can still hear the whisper of swan wings and the story of a girl who chose love and courage until the very end. Sweet dreams.